I know what you're thinking. Jillian, why are you drinking champagne? This is actually sparkling cider, and I'm drinking it because I'm classy and underage. And now you're thinking, Jillian, how did you become so classy? Well, let me tell you, it's because I am well educated in the delicate etiquette of the sexile. We're talking about sex. Picture a scene. You are at a party and you are talking to this guy or girl who you're really crushing on, and you decide at some point in the night you want to go back to your room to put your face on their face and perhaps your other parts on their other parts. And because you have a roommate, you decide to put a do not enter sign on the door. That could be a sock, a tie, or something simply drawn on your dry erase board. This is the stereotypical sexile, and it is also the worst possible way to go about sexiling your roommate. One of the things that can tear apart even the most compatible roommates is poor sexile etiquette. And today I'm going to teach you how to sexile. With a little bit of class. A classy sexile has 4 components: agreement, advanced warning, a time frame, and humility. If your sexile has all 4 of these components, you're gonna have no problems. So how do you sexile with an agreement? This is about setting ground rules with your roommate. Are you comfortable with having other people in the room? Are you comfortable being kicked out overnight? Set some ground rules with your roommate and really talk it out. It's a super awkward conversation to have, especially when you don't know each other very well, but you're gonna run into a lot fewer problems when you already have it laid out on the table. And if you had previously agreed not to have people over and things change, talk to them again. Just because you agreed to something at the beginning of the year doesn't mean it's going to continue to apply later on. But communicate. One of the most considerate things you can do if you're going to sexile your roommate is give them advanced warning. In a stereotypical sexile, the roommate comes home, finds something on the door, and needs to find somewhere else to sleep. But if you tell them in advance, it's going to be a lot less of a problem. And you think you're going to need some alone time in the room, tell them. Tell them in advance. Say, hey, I have a date party tonight and I'm bringing this girl I really like. Would you mind if I have the room? Which is a lot more considerate than telling them later. But what if this is a spontaneous thing? I meet someone, I decide to bring them home. Well, there is this magical thing called a cell phone. And you probably have your roommate's number. And if you don't, you should have it. If you think at 11 o'clock something's gonna happen, tell them! You can always back out on it later. And the thing about advance warning is advance warning can be 2 weeks in advance, it can be an hour in advance. But text them and let them know. Don't have them find out that they can't come home when they come home. A time frame might seem a little weird or unromantic, but it is one of the most considerate things you can do. There's a big difference between saying come back in the morning and come back at 3 a.m. And your roommate is a lot more likely to agree to 3 a.m. than the morning. So give them a time frame. I know that seems silly or unromantic, but I know that I like to sleep in my own bed. Here's the other thing about a time frame. If you are with someone on a fairly regular basis, you can plan that around your roommate's schedule, which I know seems like you're an old couple who's having sex once a week, but you have your room from 7 to 11 and there's no chance of your roommate coming home. The last thing an effective, considerate, classy sexile has is humility. You should never tell your roommate you're sexiling them. Always ask. Most of the time, if you have a very set agreement with your roommate about it, they're going to say, sure, good job, go enjoy yourself. And they will go on their merry way and do something. Always remember, be considerate because they are doing you a favor. And be thankful that they're willing to give up their room for a couple of hours or a night because they have as much right to it as you do. So remember, if you're gonna sexile your roommate and you wanna do it with class, have an agreement, give them advance notice, have a time frame, and be really super grateful. Because remember, there's nothing classier than a well-executed sexile.